All right. Well, I want to say welcome to my broadcast channel tonight. I will be working on a minister's robe, working to complete a minister's robe. Um, so yeah, let me see. All right. So my name is Alethea, founder of So Much Talent, and I am a custom sewist alteration specialist. I create wedding gowns, bridesmaids dresses, prom dresses, just a special occasion attire, and expert alteration specialist. If I haven't said that already, um, but I like to encourage others to sew to increase their skill level. So tonight, I thought it was just a perfect opportunity for me to come in while I am adding piping to a placket. Hey, Jana, while I'm adding placket piping to a placket for this robe. I'm just gonna turn this around so you can see this here a little bit. All right. So this is the robe that I'm currently working on. Um, so I just have to add the placket there. Of course, it's not pressed out or anything. Um, but this is a minister's robe, and so I will be working on adding piping, finishing up the piping, and adding buttonholes, as covered buttonholes as well. All right. So I don't get to come in as often. So, but if you're in, if you don't mind, if you're not following, please go ahead and follow. But at any rate, if you don't mind, share this out and definitely click the like button. All right. I do appreciate that. You never done a piping? Okay. All right. So hopefully you can see this okay. Um, so basically, I'm just adding, I bought, let me know if the music is too loud. But I just bought this, and I'm no way right now sponsored by anybody. So this is things that I'm working with that I'm sharing. So I'm not getting paid for any of this. But this is a half-inch wide piping. It's about 2.5 yards that come in this packet. Uh, but this is what I'm using. All right. And so as I'm sewing, of course, this has the lines on it for your seam allowances. So take over five. Hello. That's funny. You know what? I love God loves me. He protects me and watches over me. So I'm not afraid of Death Angel. Death Angel is at bay. He can't touch me. So you can just stay away with all that hoodoo voodoo. I got the blood of Jesus Christ that covers me, and I'm thankful that I am a child of God and I know whose I am. So you can go somewhere with that hoodoo voodoo. All right, so this is the piping that I lay on here. So I lay the actual fabric that I'm adding piping to against the seam allowance, the half-inch seam allowance. And so I add the piping here. I just kind of got the piping to the close to the foot. And I'm using I'm gonna show you this foot here. Let me see where's the other foot like it. Okay, here it is. I didn't want to take this foot off. All right, so hey Shay, how art thou? Hi, waiting for rework. Listen, I know whose I am and I know who I belong to. Amen. All right, so this is the foot that I'm using. There's a left foot and a right foot. This is a piping foot, or you can use this as a zipper foot to get close to the zipper. And so this is what I'm using. I'm actually using the left side of the piping foot, I think it is. It's close up to the edge of the piping. And so I'm working on my Juki. So you should have one very similar um, on your regular sewing machine. So as I'm sewing, I'm just letting this get as close to the edge of the foot as possible. So it will kind of guide the piping to hit just where it needs to hit. All right. So, and I'm working on this machine a 3.0 stitching. So you see me guiding it over here like this because I know I hope I'm making myself clear that as I'm riding the edge of the fabric against the seam allowance, by me doing this, it's going to force the piping to go where it needs to go. Right. And I think my thread is about to come undone, so I'm not sure. But I actually have started winding another bobbin, winding as. So as I get around to the curve, I'm just going to let my needle rest inside. I'm just going to kind of walk that around. All right, I'm just going to make that. So I'm going to clip that so it'll relax. Just make sure that that's stitching okay. So just pulling a little bit. Right, so let me just check this because it feels like the thread is about to come undone. All right, so see right there. Obviously, I can't tell where the piping is going to end on that curve, but I can just go in and clip that. For those of you that may not know, I am a woman of God. I do share the word of God. So a lot of times in my broadcast, you might hear me either playing um, Christian music or you might hear me playing the word. I don't know. Or you might hear me playing some prayers in the background. So I hope this music is soothing to you. Hope it ministers to you. Hope it brings you peace and calm. LLG him. Yes. Hey, Lady Nick, what's up? All right, so see how that kind of relaxed that as I went around that curve. All right, so I'm just taking my time. Let me just check my bobbin real quick. I do have one on standby. Uh, there is bobbin thread left in there, but it might be coming to an end. The reason why it's doing what it's doing. Is game. Now I don't get on here and sing on YouTube. Will YouTube ban you from singing along with the music? I don't know. Now, if you don't have like a foot that lets you get close to it, I wish I had my other foot. Hang on, I'm gonna grab my other foot from the other machine. Give me just a second. So I wanted to show you this just in case you're working with a home machine, what foot that you can use. Okay, so if you're working from your home machine, I don't know. Let me see if I can highlight this. Okay, I will highlight it. But if you're working from your home machine, this foot is kind of similar to what I'm working with now, that it gives you the groove on each side. And so you can adjust the width or the position of your needle to get closer to your piping. So you know how on your machine, on a regular home machine, you have the middle needle positioning, the left positioning, and the right positioning. So depending on which side you're using, you can adjust that needle position to get you a little bit closer to the piping edge. All right. All right, Lady Nixie, yes, it does. Thank you for your faithfulness. Well, Lady Nick, I appreciate you for always being a great supporter and a great cheerleader. Now, one of the things I can't figure is, well, I think oh, I see what's happening. Like that out a little bit. Okay, have to do a good tension. Okay, I think that's much better. Yeah, I think some of my thread was caught up in there. All right, so I'm just gonna take it slow around the edge. Now there is a foot that has like a channel, a tunnel or a channel up under the foot that you can use for a piping foot, and I may have one of those. I have to look in my box and see. If I do, I'll test it out. All right, so see, there's still some tension issues going on right there. Not sure, but before I actually back stitch, I'm gonna make sure all of the, I'm just moving all of the tension out of the fabric. All right, so right here, I'm gonna do this one thing. Let's see if I can do this. I'm gonna clip this just like that. And what I'm gonna do, um, let me get around this corner first. Okay, so yeah, thread did go out. Yep. So I'm gonna go ahead and line some purple on there while I'm working. And I forgot. I don't know if y'all can hear me well or not, but let me just see. Okay, that one's on. Hang on, y'all. Give me just a sec. Okay, can you hear me better? Let me know if you can hear me better. I forgot I didn't have my earbud in. All right, so that'll get me that purple thread going while I'm stitching on this. Okay, so in the meantime, I'll put my white back in. Latoya, I'm actually, you can hear me fine? Okay, good, thank you. Is it Lene? How do you pronounce your name? You asked me what I'm sewing. I'm actually finishing up a robe, but I'm working on the placket, which has buttons, covered buttons down the front of it. I actually shared it as the thumbnail for this video. So I am working on the piping and I'm working on the covered buttons. Lanita. Oh, okay. Lanita. All right. Thank you. There's two A's, I think, and that may be how you spell your name. But thank you for that pronunciation. I appreciate that. I don't like to mess up anybody's name. All right, so what I'm doing here, I'm going to finish off this piping. But what I'm going to do is have one end, take the piping out of one side and overlap the other one so it'll look like a clean finish. All right. Is that better, Lady Nick? Since I put my earbud in. All right, so I'm removing the piping. I don't know if I can bring this in a little bit. So I'm going to remove that piping out of one side so I can overlap. So I'm going to wrap that on the inside just like that. Actually need to take a little bit more out. Because I want it to just meet up to where the other one ends up at. So try not to overlap. Okay, there we go. What I meant to do is fold this over so it'll be a clean finish. Now I'll go back in and encase that. All right, so I'm taking my tip of my scissors and making sure that that's in there good, so it'll be a clean overlap. Okay, go back in. And just finish that over. All right, be sure to clip all of the threads so that nothing is exposed when I'm sewing. All right, so again, I'm going to clip that corner so it'll lay smooth. Okay. All right, so see, there's a nice clean little overlap right there. Okay. So it's one continuous piece. And so now what I'm going to do is add the facing of the lining, and I'm going to sandwich it together. Okay. All right, get all the threads and stuff out of the way. All I'm whispering. Okay, I'm sorry. So this doesn't make it hear any better. Oh, hey Mimi, giving with a purpose. How you doing? I will see you tomorrow when I. Good to see you, chick. All right, so I am going to add the. Yeah, let me use my little cute little clips. I like that handle, giving with a purpose. All right, so just make sure everything, I'm lining up everything here. Sorry for the loud noise. So the reason why I'm pinning it, I don't like to use a lot of pins, but because I've added the bias, the piping on it, sometimes it tends to shrink your fabric or draw your fabric up, especially with the tension issue that I appear to be having. So I want to make sure that everything is sewn in balance. You see what I mean? The It's almost as if this actually does have a facing. I added a ironed on a interfacing on the back of this. So definitely when you iron on interfacing, it tends to draw it up just a little bit. So what I want to do is when I sew this on, I'm going to sew this piece on the bottom because this has like a differential feed. So what that means is that the bottom side will feed faster than the top, and that will eliminate the excess fabric that's here. Like there's just a little bit of excess right in there. So when I sew this non-interface piece on the bottom, this will feed faster, which will make this fit right into this piece. All right. So I'm going to help it along though by making sure I kind of even out the facing on this piece. That makes sense. Because I don't want to get to where one end of it has more gathers or more easing than the other end. I want it to all be balanced out and even. Well, it's been raining all day. I don't know what it's been like in your neck of the woods. I mean, that's a beautiful thing because of the pollen. All right, so I am stretching this a little bit because there is some give to it. I could have stitched the piping on at the same time that I stitched this on, but I wouldn't have been able to see it. It makes life so much easier. I don't make any mistakes. I can see what I'm doing, and now that this will go, I can sew this on effortlessly because I don't have to worry about trying to hold the piping and hold the two pieces of fabric together. I can just sew them all together. All right, so now what I'm going to do is on one side, I'm going to sew around all the curves. I'm just going to leave an opening on one of these sections. All right, so just trying to decide where I want to start. I'll just start here at the top and I'll leave an opening. I'll leave an opening maybe right in here. Okay. So now all I need to do here is just worry about making sure that they're lined up together. Oh, that's awesome. So you got to get back into your sewing, honey. I know you feel like you don't have a lot of time right now, but sometimes that sewing is what gives you your peace of mind, your solitude. I said, I think I just changed my bobbin. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna follow the line that's already here. I've got stuff all over my sewing machine, so if you hear stuff falling, I'm pushing it off of my sewing machine table. Wrap myself around the Alright, so there's a little looseness right there. Gotta double check that. Yep, there's my couple buttons. Looked like it wasn't sewn. Okay. Look that funny. You see, there's got some stitches that's acting a little weird. I'll go back through. Anybody sewing tonight? Anybody working on your 5-piece wardrobe capsule that we're doing inside the group? There's a few of you that are, and I've got to post the pictures on Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram, go make sure you're following So Much Talent on Instagram. Alright, so I'm going to check my bobbin again real quick just to make sure I don't have anything crazy going on down there. Alright, let's try this again. Alright, much better. I don't know what was going on, but it's much better. And don't worry, y'all. You'll see me throwing my threads on the floor. I can clean it up. Check and make sure I'm good. I said I have that pin right there. I'm going to stop right here and leave an opening so I can turn this inside out. And it don't need to be a real big opening. See how Now, I have a little bit more security. I can go around those corners okay. That one wasn't so smooth. All right. All right, so I got around there clean and smooth. All right, so I'm gonna take that pin out. I am gonna trim this up a little bit, and let me make sure I have my. Oh, there they are. It's got my pinking shears. P. Pablo, you back? Hello, Miss Prez 412. How art thou? I make it look easy. Uh, well, I've been doing it for about for over 40 years now. So, but there are certain things other people make look easy to me. All right, so the reason I use my pinking shears is because it already clips it. Like I don't have to go back and trim the corners, clip the corners because it already has the jagged edges. So it almost does like two steps in one. And trim it close to the. So if there's any curves, anything I need to cut on the corners or whatnot, this will take care of it for me. I need a new pair of pinking shears though. I get dull. Is there a rotary cutter that has like these little jagged teeth on it? That would be ideal. So I could just go, just make my life easy. It'd be easy for me to do. All right. My husband say, he say you online looking like Auntie Palmer. Yep. All right, so I'm gonna trim it a little bit closer around the corner right here. Okay. Now the part that, okay, so I already trimmed the part. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say the part that's open, I don't want to trim it as close, but it's still enough to turn it under. Yeah, these are so dull. I should have been able to just cut through this really quick. You know, my I gotta get either new tubing, water tubing for my gravity feed iron, or I might be able to cut this tubing down and still use it. Otherwise, I can't use my gravity feed right now. So I had my grandbaby in. He pulled on the tubing cord, but I thank God it didn't pull down on him because I did have the iron on. But he was in here in the workroom with me, And I stepped away just for a second to get something out of another room. He was in his little walker, so thought, it'd be no problem. Man, that little joker, he's so inquisitive. He pulled on the tubing because it's kind of low and pulled it where it ruptured a hole in the tubing and water was just shooting everywhere. So I've got to order another piece. Hopefully it can be another piece can be ordered. All right, so got that done. So now I'm just gonna turn this inside out. This is always the fun part. All right. All right. So there we go. All right. Well, thanks, Lady Nick. I appreciate you being here. I'm trying to decide. I can't remember how I sewed the last one on. This is probably about the fourth or fifth rope that I made. But this is the second one that I made. It's the exact same color with the piping on it, with the piping on the placket. I can't remember how I attached it. It's only attached on one side, and it attaches over the button. I mean, over the zipper. Okay. So I need to give this a good press. So I'll lay this aside until I can press that, and I put the plackets on. Um, but there's that opening right there, and so, all right, you too, Lady Nick. All right. Now make sure y'all following Lady Nick. I know she's obviously she's here on YouTube, but she's also on Instagram. She's always supportive of different online communities and sharing different things. So Lady Nick at Talktown. I'll probably sew that part by hand, I believe. Or that may be the part that might be the side that I actually, if I sew this down on the garment, then I'm going to sew it into the ditch, stitch in the ditch, if you will, like right in here, stitch that down in there on one side. So thanks, Mimi. So I'm going to lay this aside and then I'm going to work on the cover buttons. Okay, because that's all I need to do is tack that. And the only other thing I need to do is hem it, um, hem the sleeves and hem the underlining. But I'm going to show you. Let me just flip this real quick so you can see basically kind of what it would look like. Give me just a sec. All right. So basically, It'll go over here just like this. Okay. It'll cover over just like that, and I'll stitch it down on this one side right here, and then I'll add the buttons down the placket in the center. And this placket extends only as long as the zipper does, just a little bit past the zipper, maybe about an inch or inch and a half past the zipper. And that way you can easily open the flip this over so you can access the zipper, but it will look like it's buttoned. All right, and so I'll add a button snap here to snap that closed when it's not in use. And so it'll just be covered like that. So that'll give it a clean finish. All right. All right, so let me put that aside. Right now I have 8 cover buttons. I'll put these to the side. And I meant to grab my glue because I like to do a little bit of extra security on my buttons to make sure they're in there good. And I like to dab a little bit of glue while I'm covering it. All right, so I've got to figure out the diameter for this cover button. You don't want it too thick. You don't want it too wide because you don't want a whole lot of fabric. Um, you don't want a whole lot of fabric down in this little groove right here in the inside of the button, because what happens is if you don't secure it with glue, it could pop right back out. All right, you have a little wardrobe malfunction. You don't want that. All right, so I am going to, for now, I'm just going to make a little template. I'm just going to create a little pattern. Let me do this with this fabric. This will let me know where I am in the ballpark. There's usually a little template. You can buy a kit that already has the little template with it. And sometimes, this one I picked up from Hobby Lobby, from Soulology. It doesn't have the little pattern on the back, so you'll know how wide to cut your fabric. Dritz does, I believe. And then sometimes there's a little kit that you can use that has the little button groove that you can sit this down in the little, it's a little round disc, a plastic disc that you sit your buttons down in, that covers your buttons for you. So obviously this particular kit, this is just like a refill kit or whatnot. So I'm just going to add maybe about an eighth of an inch, make this an eighth of an inch wider than the button. And I'm going to see if that's going to give me enough coverage. Good night, Mimi. I will see you tomorrow. Yes, ma'am. It looks about right. Nope, it's a little short. So it needs to be able to wrap around. See, you got that sides right there, so it needs to be wrapped over the sides. So there's not enough coverage all the way around. So I need this to be a little bit bigger. So let's go bigger. So I'm gonna go 1/8 of an inch bigger than that piece. I didn't take into account the little edge. All right, Let's try that. It doesn't have to be perfectly, it doesn't have to be a perfect circle. You just want coverage. Okay. All right, so that's much better. All right, so it should look a lot like that. Are you able to cover all of that on the inside? Just like that. Okay. All right. So it should look like that. Now this should be smooth right around here, but you can manipulate that for it to be smooth. Okay. So let me see if I can find my glue. But now that I have my sizing, I'm going to go ahead and cut out my circles. I have 8 buttons right now. I'm going to go ahead and cut out as many as I can. All right, so this is going to give me 4. That's going to give me 8. So make sure that all layers under there are covered. So I'm going to be cutting anything too short. I'll go ahead and put me a pin in there. Hold it in place. Okay. All right, so then all my 8 are cut already. So they're ready to be placed in there. So now I just need to find my glue to make sure I can glue this in place. Give me just a second. Remember where I put my glue. Whole bottles of glue that's just disappeared. So if I can't find my glue, what I'm going to do is use my glue gun because I'm determined that I want to get this finished, y'all. All right, I'm still looking, y'all. Hang on. one thing I hate when I cannot find my stuff. Alright, so I wonder if this will work. This washable. This one illness thing. Okay, there it is. It's not on the boxes here. Yeah, this has been one of my issues, not having stuff where I need it. Call myself cleaning up and hiding it from myself. But I have someone that's going to come in and help me organize my space, which I am very thankful for. And I am excited about it. Cannot wait. Alright, so this what we're going to do. I'm just going to go with this. Because I literally just need this to hold. So we're going to see if this is going to work. Alright, we're going to see if this is going to work. Let me use the back of this just to make sure it's coming up. Okay. Now that's not ideal, so guess what I'm going to do tomorrow? Go out and buy me several bottles of glue, since I don't know what I did with mine. So I'm placing this a little bit on the inside, just enough to grab that fabric and hold it. And I'm also going to put some on the bottom of the backing. So as I put this on here, I'm working the button. That's not going to really work like I want it to. I'm really not liking it. It's just not holding. I think I'm going to grab my glue gun. Yeah, that's not holding like I need to. It's too wet. Alright, hang on. It's nothing like not having stuff that you need at hand when you need it. Give me just a second. Alright, y'all, I'm on the hunt now. I can't believe out of all these things that I have, this thing is not useful. I'm literally tearing up stuff. Okay, now you're almost there. Where is my glue? Yeah, I might not be able to finish this project. Well, you know what? Yes, I can. This is what I'm gonna do. This is the old school way. Takes a little bit longer. Takes a little bit longer, but it's the old school way. I'm gonna leave that glue just right there. Oh, let me see if I can heat up this gun. Now I can't find. I don't know what I did with everything. I just tore up my room. All right, so I don't want to do this, but I'm gonna have to because I want to finish this. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this up while I'm working. All right, so the old school way is to gather the edges of this. Okay, so this is how I learned it like many years ago. Takes a little bit longer, but it does work. All right, so you just gather this around. So what this will do is cause the fabric to gather around the button, and you get a smoother finish this way too. I still like to add the glue as an extra measure to hold the backing in place because you don't want that backing to come undone. So I'm going to drop that down in there. Oh, gotta stay in there. This works if the button stays inside the gathers. Okay, so see that? So just gather that in there like that. So now I'm just gonna tie this off. And you notice that it smoothed out the edges too. So you don't have to worry about the bumpy edges around the button because you want the button to be smooth. So what I'm doing here is just tying off the gather so it don't come undone. Okay. So technically this will go in like this and you just push this in and then your button is covered. Okay. But like I said, I want to add the glue because I don't want the button to come undone. Yeah, I'm upset with myself right now, y'all. While I wait on the glue to get hot, the glue gun to get hot, I'm gonna go ahead and just finish off the others. And you know I'm gonna have to cut me another. Gonna have to cut me another piece because I used glue on the other one. Really don't take that much time. It can. This is just my least favorite way. Just like to be able to get in there and get it done. If you have a better method or quicker method of adding cover buttons, let me know. Drop it in the comments. Post a link or just share it. I'll be glad to see it. Okay. See how smooth those edges out there. Y'all, I don't know if y'all prefer videos where you can just, I mean, of course, these videos stay on here so you can go back and look at them, but I don't know if you prefer recorded videos or live videos. So, for some reason, it's hard for me to do recorded videos. It feels awkward. I don't mind it. Oh, well, I do mind it. That's a lie. I do mind it. I prefer live. These are white, so I'm trying to make sure that they stay white. You like the live? Okay, good. Yeah, I like live too, Latoya. I'm going ahead and cut that extra button cover. How many of y'all follow on Instagram? Did y'all see that? The last live video I did, it was just an impromptu video. I gotta share it. I gotta figure out how to share it here. But it was me and Lisa from Black Woman Stitch, Black Woman Stitch, and Carol Crocker Ware, Antsy 2001. We were on there just talking about PDF patterns and my disdain for the last one that I did. And we went from PDF patterns to panties, making panties. I don't know how we did it. I think Lisa was telling me about the PDF panty pattern that she did, but we got into a whole blown out conversation. It's quite interesting. So if you haven't seen that conversation, it was done in two parts because I think I had gone past an hour on that video, the first video, and it ended up cutting out on us. And so we came back in for part two. So that was basically the end of my PDF saga because y'all, I have several videos accounting my PDF saga for that particular pattern. All right. The tighter you pull it, the tighter, the more firm the edges and the more smooth the edges are around there. So I don't know if you can see that. All right, so again, go in and just try to tie this off so I don't lose it. All right, so you can see how thick that fabric can be up under there. And if you don't, you can see how, because that fabric is under there, you can see how this little flimsy piece of metal, it could bounce back out. It's not like some of the other button covers that has ridges around the edge. And those are the ones that I like, where you can actually pinch the fabric into the ridges and then add the back into it. Those will pretty much stay a little bit better. But these, they're flat, and you can see that the ridge around this piece is flat. So there's nothing for the fabric to grab onto. So that's why I like to add the glue to make sure it stays in and it holds. All right, so all right, I'm making a big mess here. Okay, so I'm just gonna add a little thing of glue right down in there. All right, now I usually take my take my flathead and push it down in the groove. Keep going around until I feel like it's in there good. And then I'll let that set. So now that button is in there. Okay. So I'm not going to pull on it just yet. But hopefully that glue will keep it in place. Now, it really shouldn't have to pull on this button. Now, the problem would come when you have to manipulate that button a lot, pulling it in and out of buttonholes. But because this is a faux button placket, like that means it's a fake button placket for those that might not know that. Uh, we're not really using this button. It's not being active. Um, so that should come out, should work okay. Um, all right, so let's do this one. Uh, make sure that trying to make sure that no glue gets on the fabric on the outside of this button. Okay, as that dries, that should dry just fine. Go ahead. All right. Be careful with this glue because it's hot. Again, the kits have the little pieces that you need to use for every part of creating that buttonhole, including pressing this in. But you use what you have. Okay. All right, so 3 buttonholes, 3 buttons down, and 5 to go. I might end up doing a few more. Depends on how many I need to use. And I'm using a wax skein thread to add this buttonhole to do this. That doesn't really matter. You can use just a regular thread that you have. I just have to happen to like this because it is a wax thread and it doesn't tangle when I'm using it. And I actually bought this at Wawac. So, and it does come in different colors. Go ahead and try to get all of these gathered up and then add the buttons in them. I mean, and then add the glue at the end. If you're still watching, don't forget to share this out, please. And don't forget to comment. Definitely don't forget to follow. One good thing about this thread too, it's strong and it don't pop, don't break easy. Okay. Just double knotting it to make sure it don't come undone when I finish. And I cut it. Hey, Miss Gloria, how art thou? Thank you for coming in. How have you been? I'm finishing up my minister's robe finally, and adding. I just finished adding the piping on. You can catch that on the replay. And I'm doing cover buttons now. Can you believe I cannot find 1 ounce of glue? Well, that's a lie. I did find my glue gun. I was trying to find my bottle glue, fabric tack. So I'm going old school, doing it the old school way. I'm using the buttonhole kit that doesn't have the ridges to it, so it makes it a little bit harder. So I'm having to gather it. I was saying if anybody has an easier way, a better way, quicker way, of putting buttonholes on, let me know. I love quick and easy. So that's 5. I have 3 more, 3 more to do. Hey, Glory, is the DMV area doing anything tomorrow? I know y'all are constantly doing something. That's 1, 2, 3. Oh, I got thread everywhere. Y'all been wanting to share my process of altering my gowns, my wedding gowns, and cotillion gowns. I probably had a lot of content I could have shared, but y'all, when I'm in the moment, all I be thinking about is getting it done and getting it finished. I may journal my process, do a video processing, sorry, not processing, but in the process of making the wedding gown that I have coming up for June. I have a wedding gown coming up that I'm actually making. So I haven't got the fabrics yet. I'm researching fabrics, so I will probably journal that process here. Your next meetup is April 13th. You'll be making reusable shopping bags. Ooh, I wish I could catch y'all live one day. That'd be at work. I have. I just happen to catch y'all when I come in watch for my lunch break. But I would love to know how to make a reusable shopping bag. So that's very therapeutic. Can be once you embrace the fact that you have to do it. It had a saying, ain't nothing to it but to do it. Once you realize it's something you have to do, you might as well just embrace the fact that it's got to be done. Just get to it. All right, so not so bad. I'll pin it in place so you can see what it'll look like. Gloria, do you have a gravity feed iron? If not, what kind of iron do you use? I was just telling them that my grandbaby pulled on my gravity feed iron because I don't have it up high on the from the ceiling. And so it was just low enough for him to grab it, and he pulled it so hard that it ruptured and pulled a hole in the water tubing. So I have to order, hopefully I can order another water tube and not have to replace the whole iron. Oop, oh Lord. Well, that's the first time I pulled that apart. Yeah, I know. I told y'all earlier this thread don't pull apart. Well, the thread itself didn't pull apart, but I pulled it so hard it came through the fabric. The thread itself didn't break. And it would be the last one trying to keep me from finishing. I'm about to finish this. am I doing? Why is it breaking? Maybe I don't have it knotted enough. Well, I need to start praying now. It's the last one. I got to finish this. Trying to keep me from finishing. All right, it's the last time. We ain't playing with this button. There we go. I don't know what this is trying to give me this problem. So you see I broke it. I don't have room for one in my space. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you, Petey Pablo. Appreciate that. I want this to be a space of peace. You know who that person was earlier trying to speak death. And I bind all that up in the name of Jesus. Ain't no death here. I bind all those words up. You don't come in this broadcast speaking death. Yeah, I can't put a lot more in this equipment in here either in this room, Gloria. We were laughing. One of the other things we were talking about on that video on Instagram, we were talking when we went from PDFs to panties. We were talking about ditto, the new ditto equipment, and I was asking those that had one. I just don't. I don't have space for extra stuff, you know. Um, and I don't know many people that have them, except for people that are the influencers that are using them, that are sponsoring them, or ambassadors for the ditto machine. Thought I'd try something different this time, but that might be a mess up because then the glue is coming out. Ooh, that made that hot too. Gee, that glue gun is hot. Okay, hold around. Okay, I don't know if that did what I needed it to do. I feel like that's not in there good. See, I need that super glue, but I've got more on standby. That's one thing about it. I always do get extra buttons, extra fabric, just in case I need to Make some more. My glue looks yellow. It worked better when I didn't put the glue directly on the backing. But I don't know if the heat expanded that piece or what, but it worked better every time I put the glue on the bottom itself. It's gonna stay. All right. All right. Make one in there. Just make sure that that's why your fabric can't be too thick in there, because it'll push that little button, that little back piece back out if the fabric is too thick. Sound like Legacy singing that with Kirk Franklin. Okay. Watch that. Let that glue settle in there and dry, so it'll hold. Hopefully this will hold. But really use like the E6000 to know it'll hold. So, but I'm not sure where my E6000 is right now. Thought I had just bought 2 small bottles of it. I don't know what I did with my stuff. The sad part is I have my grid board, pegboard. Just hadn't put it up yet. That way I can keep all my stuff at hand. That's one of the number one time consuming things, is not having stuff in place in an orderly manner where you can get to it. You spend too much time looking for it. At least that's my problem. Okay. All right, so that's it. So I need the 8 buttons starting out. I bought 3 kits. So I'm not sure. Hang on. I know where I keep some extras. I just came across. Okay, so here's the little clear piece I was talking about that you can actually put it inside and make sure it holds. So the fabric will go on top like that, and then the button goes down in just like that. It pushes down. That way I wouldn't have to use the gathering technique. See, goes in just like that, and then all I would have to do is apply the piece on top just like this. That makes sense. So that's that. And here's the other button that I was telling you about. This is the one with the ridges on it. So with the ridges, it clamps around the edges real easy. And then it has the center of it has a little groove like this where it just fits over the little groove and it fits in just perfectly. So okay. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to do two more. But yeah, see, if I had just pulled my little button tray out, see, I have a little tray where I keep the excess buttons in a different compartment. Then I would have realized that I had that in there. If I could just find my glue like that, that would be a beautiful thing. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pull that back out. And see, once you're done, you just thumb it back out like that. Thank you. I appreciate you all for the likes. All right, so I'm just going to make two more of these. So I'd rather have more made than not enough. That way I can just go ahead and utilize them if I need them. I have to stop and cut them out. I probably could have cut away some of this. Probably could have cut away some of this excess. Probably didn't need it all. That way I have more room at the bottom, less fabric at the bottom, and that would stick a little bit better in the bottom. Let's just test that theory out and see. I'll let it take a whole lot away, just a little bit. Okay, so I just took about 1/16 of an inch off, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm still gonna gather it. Or, well, let's just test this and see. Hey, let's just try this. You definitely have to make sure that it's even, spaced out evenly. Okay, that one spaced out evenly. Okay, because if it's not spaced out evenly, the fabric is not gonna wrap around as evenly as it could. Now, on this particular one, I am going to add the glue on the bottom of this. Ooh, that's hot. Goodness gracious. Jeez Louise. Jeez Louise. Okay. So now you get to see me do two different ways. Now this back end is a little bit, no, it's the same. Just looked a little different. Okay. A bit blue. And see how much faster that was? So it's in there. See how much faster that was doing it that way without the gather? It just saves time. All right. And it went in a lot smoother without that extra excess of fabric. So if I had trimmed that down just a little bit beforehand, I wouldn't have had the excess. Okay, so I'm just making sure I. So I'm just using this to push this down in the hole. Okay. All right, I'm just gonna tuck that down in there. Put that down in there like that. All right. Just making sure it's tucked down in there. Now, ideally, you don't want all those little jabs on the back, but I mean, who's looking at the bottom of it, right? Hey, Michelle, how art thou? See, so much easier to do it when you don't have to gather it. So much easier. Well, there is a tool to actually, and I don't think I have that tool in that box that actually pushes that down, so we don't have to stab it like that so much. All right, so now I have the 10 buttons. Um, I have some smaller buttons in here that okay, so here is, oh, here it is. So here's the, is this the one? Yeah, this is the little piece. So I'm just gonna, let's see, maybe I can do, let's see if I have one more. Nope, that's smaller. Okay, so here's, nope. I don't know if this is, okay, I think it is. So I'm just gonna show you how to use this. Good night, Glory. I'm about to hop off myself. So now that I found the piece that actually pushes down, and I'm going to show you how to use that as well. All right, so now here I'm just making sure this is balanced out here. This is just a makeshift one. Well, you know what? I might as well, while I'm adding it, the bit extra button. So let me just go ahead and cut a fresh piece. All right, and I'm just gonna cut a little bit more off like I did the last one, because I didn't need as much on there. All right, so now I'm going to make sure it's kind of centered on there, so make sure it's even all the way around. All right, I'll add that in there. All right, give that a tuck down in there. All right, put some glue on this backing. All right, so now this is where I use this piece right here. I'm just going to use this. All right. All right. So that's much better than having those little stab marks in there, right? All right. So the moral of the story is to have all your tools ready and available to use. It looks so much neater than, I mean, you're not going to see it at the bottom, but still, right? All right, so what I'm going to do real quick is just turn it around and pin it so you can see what it look like with the buttons on it. And then that's a wrap, folks. Keep in mind, this has to be pressed. All right. All right, I'm going to turn this around real quick. All right, so those of you that's coming in, I'm working on a minister's robe, finishing it up. I'm making a placket to cover over the buttons. There'll be a snap that goes on this side. This side will be stitched down, and the mock buttons. The buttons will go be sewn on top. And you can see the picture of this on the thumbnail. Not sure yet how far apart they're going to be. This gives you an idea of what it's going to look like. So that's basically what it's going to look like. All right. And so you get to see the finished product when it's done. But this is what I'm working on. All right. So you all, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight while I finish. I got a lot accomplished, a lot that I want to get accomplished. So the only thing I have to do now, once I get the placket sewn on, just give it a good press. I have to hem it, hem the sleeves, and hem the bottom, hem the sleeves and hem the cassock itself, and that's it. It's done. All right. Again, thank y'all for hanging out with me, and don't forget to share this. Don't forget to like it, and certainly don't forget to follow. My name is Alethea, and I hope you have a great night.